there can be no other place I start than talking about the man of the moment, Thomas Partey. And there are lots of things to discuss on that front. And firstly, I want to ask you guys, how much of a statement do you think it is that Arsenal got Thomas Partey? And I'm going to go to Igal first on that one.
Yo, man, let's be honest. We went out and Edu, he used to play in that midfield. So he's seen that, the midfielder was lacking the physicality, the box-to-box midfielder that could do stuff. And he went out and he targeted one of the best midfielders in world football. You cannot debate that Thomas Partey, when it comes to dribbling ability, when it comes to being box-to-box, when it comes to his passing range and his ability to pass the ball from deep, he is one of the best midfielders in the world. And no one can debate that from his performance at Atletico Madrid. And for him slotting right into our midfield, it brings us tenfold higher. When it comes to, think about it, before we had to pick between El Neni, Dani Ceballos, and Xhaka, who I'm not necessarily going to say they're all terrible, but that's what we had. And bring Thomas Partey into that, it improves everybody, because now he can do the things that they couldn't do. And he has the physicality and the ability to get around the pitch that they never had. So you know what? I'm happy Thomas Partey came in, and no one can tell me that's not a great signing.
Wow. Emphatic. Okay. And Kesh, what are you saying? You said you're on a high. You're obviously happy that Partey's in the team?
I'm well happy. When you think about Thomas Partey and you think about box-to-box midfielders, there's not many better than him out there. And if you look over the last few seasons and the type of profile that Arsenal go for as the midfielders, you can see why we always lose when it comes to playing against the top six, because a lot of our midfielders ain't got any steel in them. With Partey, you got steel. He's an all-round player, technically brilliant, and he's press resistant. So I can see why Arteta went for him.
Love that. It makes sense. And Sam, what are you saying? You think that Partey is a good signing?
You listen, before the Sheffield United game on Sunday, where the atmosphere of the fans was so negative and we were such an alert saying this is going to be a long season ahead of us. This midfield is nothing. We've got Arnani and Xhaka. Where's the depth? And they said we're selling midfielders as well because Lucas Torreira was set to leave. I said we've got no midfielders. All of a sudden, on deadline day, we get one of the best midfielders in the world, in Thomas Partey. And the mood of the club and the fans have just completely shifted in the other direction. And now we're more upbeat and positive about the season. Now we have more of a confidence in getting top four of the season. This is what I should expect getting top four with Thomas Partey, because he brings that another sense of in the midfield, the steel that we lacked for so long, and the mentality, never give up mentality. There's countless videos of him against Lionel Messi, and Lionel Messi's making these iconic runs. And this guy just tackles Lionel Messi straight, and you can see the frustration of Lionel Messi's face when he plays Thomas Partey. So I think we've got a special player on our hands.
Love that. That's brilliant to see. And so I can see from the comments already, there's people saying that, number one, Partey's not that good. There's people saying that doesn't he realize he's not going to be playing Champions League football. So what I just really want to know is, number one, do you think other fans are being salty? Do you think Partey is actually that good? I know you've all spoken on it, but do you think that Arsenal's midfield is going to change, or is he going to continue to play in that midfield too? Is it going to be Xhaka and Partey, or is he going to be at the base of the midfield?
I think some of these guys are just sour. All you fans from other clubs are so sour. First of all, don't get me wrong. When you guys make good signings, everyone gives it up to you guys. But when Arsenal makes a good signing, no one's going to give it up to us. They're going to be sour. Let's be honest. Thomas Partey gets into Chelsea's midfield. He gets into Liverpool's midfield. He gets into Man City's midfield. He gets into Man United's midfield. He gets into every top team in the Premier League's midfield. So don't ever bring it to him. As a player, he's great. As our team, our midfield is weak. But when you get a player who gets slots into every single midfield in the Premier League easily, you cannot tell me we did not improve tenfold.
In Europe, not just Premier League.
So I mean, listen, guys, I love Arsenal as much as the next man. But are you guys seriously telling me that you think Partey gets into any midfield in not only the league, in Europe?
Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that. Let's be honest. Ooh. Okay, let's go team for team. Who's going to take him out at Chelsea? You have 3 midfield spots. Partey gets in easily. Manchester City.
But Rodri, I mean, Partey, Kante,
Listen, it's not why is it Partey Kante? They play different ways. One is box to box, one is a defensive midfielder, original defensive midfielder. They're two different players.
Okay.
Right?
Fair.
And then let me go to Manchester United. You keep talking about Bruno and Pogba. Well, if you had a Partey, it would let those three guys do what they have to do at the end of the day. If you have Manchester City, you have Kevin De Bruyne, you have Fernandinho who's finished, and you have Rodri who's never been the speed. He's never been able to play in the Premier League with the speed and the physicality that he needs. That's why he's played as center back and he's been played in so many different positions. So in my opinion, Partey slots into every single team in the Premier League like this, easy. And when you have a top 5 midfielder in the Premier League, that's what we have now. You can't tell me nothing different. Period. What do you mean Fabinho and Kante? Let's be honest. Fabinho and Kante are not box-to-box midfielders. Partey is a box-to-box midfielder. Have you seen his dribbling ability? He's one of the best dribblers in world football. Don't bring that stuff to me, guys.
Some people don't understand the game when they talk about Partey. They seem to think he's someone that sits at the base and holds it down. That's not his game. He gets on the ball. He can get his engine can take him from one box to the other, and he chips in with a few goals here and there. Like if you saw what Sky Sports put up, and they showed his statistics compared to our midfield, he shits on all of them, and I think he'll do the same for other teams as well. I think ideally you'd want over the next season or so, you'll probably see Xhaka get replaced. I'm not a big fan of Xhaka, but Partey is a sort of player that can come in and cover for Xhaka's mistakes at times because he's got the engine to get back in time and help him out in certain aspects of the game. He's got the legs. He's going to work tirelessly, so I think it's a plus.
Okay. And Sam, what about you? How do you see Partey slotting in tactically?
Tactically, I think, it's going to be a pivot of Xhaka and Partey, which I'm really excited to see. I have faith in Mikel Arteta. I see him because the way Mikel Arteta plays is that he requires a Thomas Partey, and now he's finally acquired him. And the way we play, I think we can progress more up the pitch and make no more Mohamed Al sideways on the pitch. Yeah, no sideways passes. Yeah. Forward pass. That's his mind mentality. Yeah, forward pass, not backwards. I remember against Sheffield United. Yeah, Mohamed Al Neni was on his Sheffield United's box, and he passes it all the way back to the goalkeeper. I was like, I can't wait when we play Thomas Partey when he passes it forward instead of backwards. So I'm just excited.
And I mean, if he's excited, then I already know that you are. So,
okay.
But do you reckon
I'm gonna give you a level-headed answer this time, okay? I'm not gonna go overboard. Let's be honest. Thomas Partey brings us something that we haven't had since we lost Santi Cazorla. He has a guy who will not hide in the midfield, who can receive the ball under pressure, and nobody else can come near him. He's like a force field. When he receives the ball, you can feel comfortable for him receiving the ball in your own box. For him receiving the ball deep in your own attacking third, you can feel comfortable for him receiving the ball deep into the other opponent's attacking third. It doesn't matter where he receives it. If there's people around him, you feel comfortable with him receiving the ball because he doesn't lose the ball that easily. And that's something we haven't had since Santi Cazorla. And that is one thing that I'm looking forward to.
Partey walks into any midfield in the Premier League. Simple facts. There is not a single team in the Premier League, Man City, Liverpool, who he does not walk in. I watched him against Liverpool before lockdown, and he's one of the reasons why Madrid went and beat him at Anfield. He was colossus. I've watched him in the flesh. I've watched him live when he played against Arsenal in the semi-finals. And I remember they went down to 10 men pretty early at the Emirates, and he actually slotted in at right back. So he could actually replace Hector Bellerin if he wanted to. Listen, the guy is an absolute monster. And £45 million for a player of his caliber, we have robbed Atletico Madrid. Why they did not do everything they could to renegotiate a new contract. He was the lowest paid player at Atletico Madrid. You've got a player of that caliber. You know what release clause he's got. You know Arsenal are sniffing. Do everything to break the bank to make sure he re-signs and there's a new clause in place. If you listen to what Thomas Partey's been saying since, he left, it's pretty evident that he was expecting maybe a little bit more of a fight from Atletico Madrid. But they never really put up a fight. They never really thought that he was going to go. They kind of just said, yeah, it's not going to happen. Not in this window, not with COVID, whatever reasons. They were very, very adamant and very confident that Arsenal did not have the funds or the capability of coming in there and taking Thomas Partey. And on the day of the window, we went into La Liga offices, said, here's your money. Now we're going to go and take him. Bye-bye. And you can have Lucas Torreira in return. But we can take him back in a year if we want to as well. They've been well and truly mugged off. And that's why when you see Simeone apparently going mad, do you know what I always look at when a player leaves or certain things? I've seen lots of comments from other fans within La Liga who are celebrating Thomas Partey leaving because they now know they don't have to face him. Real Madrid fans buzzing. They don't have to face him. He is an absolute monster. This is the closest thing we've got since Patrick Vieira left. The statement is there for all to see. We've never the closest. Actually, I'll tell you truthfully, the closest we've ever come to replacing Patrick Vieira was Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
But his injuries just completely ruined him. That broken ankle against Sunderland by some bonehead that nobody even remembers the name of now just completely ruined his career. That is the closest. But a lot of people will say he's a defensive midfielder. He's not. He's an all-round midfielder. He can sit at the base if he wants to. He's more of a box-to-box. His dribbling ability is one of the best in the Liga. His break-up play, the interceptions. He's literally got everything. £45 million.
Now, on that,
We robbed them.
I wanted to